William R. Quinn, Quinn, 1721 Huntington Drive, Pasadena.
Last name spelling Frank Union Robert Charles Adam Paul. First name of Roland R-O-L-A-N-D. No middle name. POB is 23 of 73.
You can't tell us anything right now?
Just it's an older white male, and
that's it. When can you tell me more? Where's he from?
Can't tell you that. I can't tell you that I looked in a car that has California plates on it.
Okay. When can I get an interview?
As soon as we find something out. They're going to have a picture of you and I sitting in this truck outside of Motel 6. That ought to make some headlines. Don't worry, my wife never watches TV.
First name Leon, L-E-O-N. No middle name. POB is 715 of 70.
Also to contact him, please do.
Okay, we'll do. Go ahead and call flight 4.
I want a good 10-second. We don't know who he is. Fill me in.
At this time, we are in the process of conducting an autopsy. We have what we feel is a good identification. However, we'll withhold that until we make notification, and it appears he died from a gunshot wound to the head.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
No.
Bonk.
I don't have anything else to add.
You make
Poke
my...
a hole in your pocket. There you go.
You make my job.
Was it out?
Yeah, you had poked a hole in your pocket.
I did.
Don't let the...
That's all right.
Don't let the department find out about that, okay? Family's been notified yet?
Nothing. I haven't been able to get away from here yet.
Well, you better get going, okay? I'm going to call you back.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to go
Find
in.
out more.
I'm going to call where he lives and have them take care of it.
Okay, and then you can tell me more.
I'll give you a call.
Better. All I can tell you right now is we received a call that there was a possible suicide at the Motel 6 motel.
The motel doesn't have a restaurant and bar. You just come to the motel, park your car, sleep, and then go away. Keep traveling.
There's no room service, there's no valet parking. The carpet doesn't match the drapes. It's, it's like camping, sort of.
Actually, there's not much difference between the functioning of a hotel and a motel.
So, Stella Motel, can I help you? $30 plus tax, $32.83. Okay, sir. I see you later then. Bye-bye.
I have a double and a room with a double and a single bed. Is that okay? And that's for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? And when can you be here? Because I can only hold them till 4 o'clock, so. Okay, for one person it's 28, and for 2 people, 37.95. Plus the tax.
Drives me crazy to watch all those cars. They make me nervous.
Isn't the motel always on the main road?
Yeah, you have to be on the main road, yeah.
Terry, when did you open this motel?
8 years ago, December, we bought it. Yeah.
You and Penny?
Yes, we bought it together, yeah.
How did you meet?
In Mexico. She was sailing in Mexico with her husband and the 2 children, and she stayed in my hotel in Mexico.
You had a hotel in Mexico?
Yeah, I had a kind of a small, only 34 rooms, bungalows, little exclusive place, first tennis court. And she used to stay with me when they came into port. And then later we became friends, and then I moved to Santa Fe in 1980. She divorced her husband, and then we decided to buy this place together. And she's a good maintenance. We can fix most maintenance problems ourselves.
Wrong screwdriver. Gotta go back.
Why did you leave Mexico?
The government of Mexico expropriated me. The top shots in Mexico City, they liked my land so much that they just took it all. Yeah, I got $32,000 for 2 homes that were over $120,000 worth. And then, of course, you know, between being put in jail 6, 7 times, but never been proven to be guilty, we got so fed up that my husband and I, we decided to leave. Just leave it all behind and start all over again.
Is your husband here?
No, we split. We separated it, yeah.
Why were you put in jail?
As I say, they wanted it to break the spirit from a Dutchman. And that's not very easy to do. We Dutch people, we don't give up. I really fought it to keep my land. But it's the power of Mexico's politicians is so strong. You can't fight.
Well, I met my husband in Mexico. And
He was Mexican or American?
American. From Kansas. We sailed in the South Pacific, where my daughter was born in Tahiti. And we sailed about 8 years. And then I got pregnant again, so we decided it was time to, I don't know if this is working or not, time to settle down on land.
So the Mexicans won. You gave in?
They won, I gave in. Better than being shot at, you know. I mean, I'm still alive at least. Yeah, it's better than being shot. My American husband, he couldn't take it. I went to jail for him twice because I know that if he would go to jail, he would just go berserk, you know. An American being in jail without being guilty in Mexico, it's...
Who had the idea of opening a motel in Santa Fe?
It wasn't me, it was Terry.
Penny's fixing 11. Just leave it. We are gonna fix some more. You are a freak this morning.
They're going in the office.
In the office again. Yeah, the maid is doing your room, so right now, let me see if they left. She must have the key.
Isn't it a bit difficult for 3 women to run a motel?
Well, it's not easy, but I think I like the life because I can be with my kids. You know, I can always be home.
Well, you've been very lucky. You haven't had any robberies.
Oh, you should have Helen tell you about the robbery. We had a robbery, gunpoint robbery, yeah. But you have to have Helen tell it because it's really funny. This is our one and only robbery at the Silver Saddle Motel. I came back from the movies. Helen's lying on the couch, and I came in and I said, "Why, the movies were really great."
So you enjoyed the movie,
Yeah, I sure did. About this time, a young boy walks in the door.
Can you change this?
Sure. Now, there's nothing in there. Helen!
I heard his name, Helen, and I go up.
Helen, he's got a
I
gun.
walk around, and I see this young man with a little gun, and I said, "Hey, what do you think you are doing, young punk?" And I walked around and I kind of tapped him, you know, and I said, hey, you think you can steal our money? And I grabbed his front shirt like this. He threw me over. I fall down. I see him take a box, and I get up, and I grab him by his legs, and he fall out of the door. That's the way it was. He got away with one box, but the Coca-Cola box.
Yeah, it had 33
One
cents
box.
in it, and the other one had $800.
And then in the meantime, she runs away with $800. He got the wrong box. We tackled each other.
That was
That
so
was
funny.
it.
I often wonder if that gun was loaded or not, you know.
Really?
See, one thing that she's deaf and she doesn't hear, and he actually cocked the gun. I heard it click.
Did you have money in that
And,
box?
yeah.
Here, come here.
Yeah.
We don't want to have a
No
gun
way.
here. We don't want to
No
shoot
son of a
anybody.
bitch walk out of that door with our money. Never. Never, ever,
If
ever.
you have a liquor store or
I
gas
tackled
station, have a gun, but you know we don't. There's not enough money around here to shoot somebody for, or get shot for, right?
But still, I wouldn't want them to walk out with money. Not
Yeah,
because
but would
of
you
that.
want to get shot for?
I don't mind. They're a nice
$500?
way to go.
Oh well.
If I go.
Why aren't there any men here?
We're all divorced. That's why.
You're all divorced, all three of you.
All three of us, yeah. Have been for many years. There's no time to even find a man when you're in this business. You work 24 hours a day. What, you know, who are you going to find?
Right.
I mean, somebody comes over to visit and what? There's a whole bunch of people around, clients, kids, dogs, cats, other people. Well, it's real hard for me because I live in the manager's office and I don't have anywhere to get away.
Right.
You know, I mean, somebody comes to visit me and all of a sudden everybody's there listening. You know, I don't have any, I can't
No
just
privacy.
walk into a motel room with somebody
have
that
no
comes to
privacy
visit.
with
Yeah, I don't have any privacy.
No privacy.
This is hard work, you know.
It's hard work.
Oh, yeah, you have to fold it all up by hand. Oh, yes.
You don't want to get married again?
Oh, yeah, but I mean, not right now. I mean, is it ever too late?
I don't know.
Yeah, well.
Is it ever too late?
Men are not, I am not interested per se in men because my life is full as it is. I am interested in philosophies. I read very good books. I go to my church. I have my family. We work very hard. Man is not, I'm not into it, let's put it that way. Maybe later, I like to dress up and be pretty, basically for myself. I'm fulfilled into myself. I don't need, per se, somebody.
The first experience that Patty and I had with a bunch of wild Indians from Cochiti Lake or from Ile de Defonso, that there were 4 guys in the room, and we were not used to this kind of a rough, wild nature man. That's the way I call it, right?
Yeah.
Is it a nice way to say it?
Yeah.
But they had a nice truck, and they all stayed in room number 12. And that year, we have bought some red carpets from the Ramada Inn. The Ramada Inn was changing their rooms, so we were not so rich, and we had to have a little better carpet. And then these Indians came, and all of a sudden we hear a lot of movement going and a lot of shouting. So Penny and I, we run down in the middle of the motel, and the door is wide open, and I see those 4 big Indians, and one is laying on the floor. And I looked at him, and his whole hair was totally scalped, like somebody really scalped him like a white man would have done to an Indian. Remember that? And I was hysterical looking at all the blood flowing on my red carpet from the Ramada Inn. Remember that? So Penny and I, we calmed everybody down, and we told to one of the young men to turn the truck around. And we put kind of a sheet under him because he was so heavy. So the 4 Indians plus 2 white women in one room, and one is bleeding to death with a scalp wound.
I guess they got hit with a bottle.
Yeah, he got hit with a bottle. And then we all picked this big Indian. I mean, he was a fat one. We picked him up and kind of sloshed him in the back of the truck, kept his head, and then they drove down to the hospital. I hope they never came back to see us because they were wild.
That's it, man. Got the money back. I don't know why. Yesterday, we did the money. It was perfect. And now we got 60 too much.
I don't know why you have too much money. Maybe it's my money. Cash, we're saying that Cash has a funny way of flying out the window and in the corner.
And coming back again.
And then it comes
Disappearing
back.
in a couple of days. You
Yeah,
know
it
what I
comes
mean?
back.
Disappears, comes back, disappears, comes
Too
back.
much, too little, too this, too that. Hey, you're $60 over. Hello?
Good
What?
seeing. Let me check it out. I'm right there.
Yeah, you better
Yes.
sit down. I'm going to retreat.
Yeah? Oh, I don't know. We don't have to go. I can make that seafood. Here, we don't have to go out to dinner. Huh? Okay, well, come back, be home at 7 then. Yeah. Bye.
Your daughter?
Oh, my daughter's gonna be home to help me, and you know. Boyfriends are more important.
You seem to have a regular family life here.
Yeah. Just have a, you know, it's just a kind of a 24-hour-a-day interrupted family life, but, you know.
She does everything for me, really. I mean, cooks, and I help clean up sometimes, but not all the time.
We bought the Silver Saddle Motel with the idea of staying here till all of our kids would be out of college.
And that's what's happening now.
And that's what's happening right now.
Penny, what's the average weekly amount that you can make?
Well, it's, you know, that we could make if we were full all the time. Oh, $5,000–6,000 a week. If we were full all the time, but, you know, that's not the case, of course. That would be nice.
Has there been a time where you thought, oh, it's never going to work?
Yeah, like in November, December, January, and February, when all you do is pay the bills. That's kind of the motel business. So you have off-season and on-season, and you save in the summer to pay your bills in the winter.
Hi.
Can I help you?
We just got room 25, and it looks like it's been slept in.
The sheet is clean, there's nobody slept on it.
Well, I don't know.
That's what people do. They look at it and they mess up the covers. Then they come back and they say, we don't want it. Then they leave the covers unmessed. You want your money back, you can.
Could you just get us some clean sheets? We'll put them on ourselves.
You want a clean sheet? I'll give you some clean sheets.
Yes, please.
That's what people do. You come here to my office. I'm going to give you a key. You're going to look if you dig it. You're going to mess up the bed. Then you come back. You don't fix it. You are not educated.
Well, we already
Right or not?
so.
99% are uneducated.
Yeah, right.
That's goddamn sure. I get mad. One afternoon I was working here in a motel and I had a young man that rented a room. And I knew the time he arrived. About an hour and a half to 2 hours later, this young man came to the office and wanted his money back. So Freddie and I, we went to check out the room, and he said he had not used the room. Well, we went, after 2 hours, we went down, and we saw a lot of semen on the sheets. So we told, hey, you want your money back after making love to this girl with semen on the sheets? Forget it, honey. But this young man made a scene. He actually wanted to have a physical fight. So Freddie punched him out. Well, the young man lost his case. He never did give back his money. I mean, stuff like that goes down in a motel.
No air conditioning?
No,
Does
no
it get pretty
air
cool?
condition. Basically, you really do not need air conditioning at night time.
Well,
Because the difference in temperature during the day and at night is considerable.
yeah, I was
Almost
up here.
30%.
I was up here in January of.
That's cold.
So it was.
And
you know,
even then, it's not that cold.
Yeah.
I think the best temperature Santa Fe has, besides California, really.
Yeah.
You know, it never gets too hot and it never gets too cold. You take this, sign in. 41-6. So we're sitting here. and this wonderfully dressed gentleman walked in. And I thought he was going to have a room. The guy sat down, I introduced him to my boyfriend, and we started talking. Well, anyway, that night, he did not take a room. That's kind of surprised me. He informed himself about the prices. I guess he's going to take a room. Beautifully dressed. It was winter time, and there was snow. The next evening, I was putting on the lights on the in the hall, and I hear, Helen, Helen. I turn around, and there was the same gentleman. His name was Ed. He said, Helen, I need a place to sleep in my car. Can I park somewhere here? I said, Jesus, Ed, you don't have any money to pay for a room? He emptied his pocket and had $2 to his name. No more. I said, Jesus, you cannot sleep in your car in the winter time. Let me go talk to my sister. So I go talk to my sister. My sister said, Jesus, Helen, we can't let the guy sleep in front of our house in his car. Why don't we invite him in and sleep in the living room? Well, we did. He slept in our living room and showered, got himself a job, etc., etc. Stayed 14 days in our living room. We felt sorry for him. Finally, he got a job in Albuquerque. So we were happy that he got a job and he moved to Albuquerque. Next thing, I'm reading the newspaper in the morning, and the same guy with the same name shot dead by the police. He had fallen in love with the woman that worked at the Marriott Hotel in Albuquerque. He felt so much in love that he bothered her all the time. And I guess she didn't want to have anything to do with him. And at one point, he went berserk. He took a little gun that he had shown me already here. It was a beautiful gun, and threatened the lady, and then the security guard shot him dead. So Eddie Boy was dead out of his miseries. Yeah, really. That's quite a story, isn't it? I mean, all this within 3 weeks, you know.
So, Stella Motel, can I help you? Just a minute, let me check
You all
my
seem to enjoy people a lot and have understanding for each other.
You might say that we just make the best out of life. Wherever you are, you just have to go along with everybody and everything and enjoy life. You sit there getting mad because you don't like this, you don't like that, you don't like these people, you don't like those people. You might as well just give up and go to bed forever, you know.
But you know, I do believe it is an advantage because you have been a sailor 12 years on the high seas, and we have traveled all over the world, so, you know, it makes a kind of a combination that fits together. True? You get angry, you have fights, but still you get together and you stick together.
Motel was a whorehouse at one time, and they had beautiful women. There was no rules or regulations, and the law was the gun and the man that could shoot the fastest. It's been run since at least 1939. The motel is open now to tourists. It still looks very much the same. It has been remodeled a little bit, but it has no air conditioning and nothing fancy.
Did you just get up?
I just got up.
Where did you sleep? Is that your motel room? Yeah?
No, Mama's still sleeping.
Do you ever sleep in motels?
Very seldom.
Why not?
Can't afford it.
This is cheaper than the motel.
Right. Don't cost me nothing to sleep there except my truck payments. Well, this is not the biggest sleeper here. My wife and I are both rental. You've been for him.
This is my motel room. Yeah, that's my home. I live in that about, probably 300 days out of the year. I've done that for about 35 years. I got used to it and it don't bother me.
To Los Angeles, where I had a business meeting, and the meeting went on forever. I missed 2 flights out of LA, and I was exhausted when I finally arrived in Phoenix. I'd never been there before, and the map that the rental car people gave me was all wrong. So off I went through the desert by myself, trying to find Florence, Arizona. I was exhausted, and I kept going and going and going, and the roads were up and down, all through the desert. It was a horrible experience. I didn't know where I was going. I was 2,000 miles away from home, and just the sensation of turning this corner after coming 2,000 miles and seeing the Blue Mist Motel, it was the most sinking feeling I've ever had in my life. It was terrible. It's the cheesiest place I've ever been. But it got better with each time.
How often do you visit your husband?
About once every 6 weeks.
Was that the general plan?
Well, yeah, that was the general plan, but I couldn't always get away. The first thing I ever heard about this motel was that there was this horrible murder here, and that's like the story that they tell everyone the first time they come to town and they find out you're staying in this motel.
What was the story?
Well, no, I probably am not telling it completely correctly, but a guy broke out of the prison and his mother was staying here at this motel, and he apparently hacked her up into little bitty pieces and tried to sell her to, like, the grocery store, and it was just really gruesome. And they said that the room where he did this, like, there's supposedly still blood on the ceiling. And so they always ask you, what room are you staying in, And of course, whatever room you say, they're going to say, ooh, that's where it happened, So the first night I spent in Florence, Arizona, I spent sleeping in the cheesiest motel I've ever slept in my life, thinking that I was sleeping in the bed where a mass murder occurred. So, I mean, it was just... It's an experience that you just have to live to believe. Strange place.
Is this the daily procedure?
Yes, it is. About 5:30, get ready. gates open at 7:30, and you can go in and sign in and take your stuff in. And then the men are allowed to come out at 8 o'clock. That's when visits begin, from 8 to 3 in this unit. Most of the women start staying in the motel because it's a lot easier than getting up at 3:30 in the morning from Phoenix.
Does Mike have a special way he wants you to look?
No, he just doesn't want to cut. He says the red hair should be trimmed, maybe, but never cut. I always wore mine very short. Number one, I think that long hair on an older person looks borderline ridiculous. He doesn't seem to think so. And he's boss.
Does he ask you to wear certain dresses when you come to see him?
The black blouse I had on yesterday in green. That's the only two requests. And no slacks, because he sees enough of those on the female guards over there.
How many times a week can you see him?
2 days a week. You can visit Saturday and Sunday, or Sunday and Monday, or Saturday and Monday. 7-hour visits. Unless it's a holiday. On a holiday, we can visit 3 days. That's only because he's minimum custody. Maximum custody and medium custody, they can only visit 1 day a week. Some units only 2 hours, one day a week.
How much time will you have with him today?
2 hours. Usually it's only 30 minutes, but since I'm coming over 1,200 miles away, Mr. Penn was very sweet and let me have 2 hours each visit.
These little clear purses are called prison purses. That's the nickname for them because they need to be able to see through your purse.
But we're allowed to take $10 in change, a package of unopened cigarettes that cannot be opened in any way, a package of gopher matches. They're not supposed to let me take Kleenex in, but I do because I don't like a runny nose. And my identification. And that is it.
I gotta finish my hair.
Sandra, how old is Bill?
Bill's 36.
What does he look like? Can you describe him to me?
5'10", hazel eyes, dimple in his chin, dimple in his cheeks. Probably weighs 200 pounds. He's a musician, he's an artist. He's funny. The family calls him the White Richard Pryor. He thinks he's Richard Pryor.
So all of these things made you fall in love with him?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Helen, can you describe Mike to me?
6'2", about 205 pounds, brown hair, dark brown hair, blue eyes, typically Irish all the way. That's one of the many things that we jived on. The only thing we don't jive on is the fact that I like to dance, and he said he would if he had to, but he didn't like to dance. But other than that, we have a lot of similarities. I don't believe in hunting. I don't believe in worthless killing of animals, or worthless killing of anything for that matter. And he doesn't believe in it either. I'll have plenty to tell Michael.
Nancy, what does Jason look like?
He's 5'10", 160 pounds, gray hair, brown eyes, British. He's gorgeous.
He's gorgeous?
Yeah, but I mean, would I be married to a slug?
How did you actually meet Bill?
When I was a guard in that unit.
In what unit?
In the minimum custody unit. And I was what they call the operations officer in that unit. And he was one of the inmates in that unit.
He's a lifer?
Yes, he is a lifer. He's doing 25 to life.
For what?
For murder, first-degree murder. It was a drug-related crime. The person he killed was a drug dealer, drug user. It was a drug deal that went sour.
But how does a guard get together with an inmate? How does that work?
Yeah, how did that work? He was just there all the time. Of course, so were 500 other inmates, but we got involved because we were involved in a lot of the same groups. We spent a lot of time together, and it just happened. How does anybody fall in love? I don't know, it just happened. Nobody was more shocked than me because I had a great career going with the Department of Corrections, believe me. I was about to apply for my sergeant's stripes. I just received Officer of the Month award, which is a real nice privilege for a woman to even be in the running because we have to overcome so many things. And I realized I was throwing all that away for somebody that wasn't going to get out for a lot of years. He's not eligible for parole until September 2001.
Were a lot of your colleagues against what you were doing?
A lot of my colleagues did not realize what was going on. There was some gossip, and that's when I quit the prison, before it was discovered, before Bill got in trouble, and before I got fired, because I really loved my job, and I didn't want to leave there with a bad record. And the first day I got to come back and visit was after our wedding.
Where did you meet Jason?
At a tennis tournament in Boca Raton. He was playing in the tournament.
He approached you?
No, he asked a friend of mine who I was and where I was staying, and he called and sent flowers and drove me crazy for 2 weeks. And finally,
he sent flowers?
Every day. Yes.
Why are you laughing?
Well, it was just too much, but
Too many flowers?
yeah, my house looked like a funeral home. But it was nice, and I thought that was special, so I went out with him and fell in love. And shortly thereafter, he was arrested and went to prison.
Why was he arrested?
He was arrested for credit card fraud.
I was going to tell you how Mike and I met. It was through an article I wrote into the Houston Post, the sound-off edition, where you can, get it out of your system. I had had a horrifying experience in my family. My niece's little 2-year-old granddaughter was brutally beaten, burned, and murdered by her stepfather of 5 days. And to this day, this is 3 or 4 years ago, to this day, that individual, I won't call him a man, he's still walking free because his case hasn't been brought to trial. He's admitted to the murder, but it hadn't been brought to trial. His family put themselves in hock for $300,000. They got him out. And at the same time, there are people behind bars that don't belong there. To me, this is not justice. And I wrote in the sound-off and said, where is justice? Well, Mike read that in the Post and wrote me a letter. Of course, you put your address. And he agreed with me and went on to tell a little bit about his story. And it got me. Well, in Arizona, it was mistaken identity. He happened to be at the wrong place riding a Harley at the same time within blocks of where the robbery had taken place. He was given the same sentence for a robbery that men that are being put in there now are given for rape and murder, which is nauseating, to say the least. He was 19 or 20 when he supposedly committed the crime, and in Texas he was protecting his own property, being ripped off by an illegal alien. He shot him in the leg, and in Texas we have a real strict rule. If you shoot somebody on your property, you drag them over 50% inside your house and swear that that's where they were when you shot them. Otherwise, you're up for manslaughter. It's a ridiculous rule. So I answered Mike's letter. And that is the way our acquaintance began.
I was married here.
You married here?
Yes, I was married in the prison here in Florence.
Why did you do that?
Who knows? Because I wanted to get married, or I had decided that I wanted to get married, and felt like he needed the feeling that our relationship had more stability than we were just lovers or living together, and so I decided to get married, and since they wouldn't let him out, I had to go in. It's just, until you get used to the bizarreness of having a relationship with someone in prison, the thought of being married in a prison is just terribly far out. So, I mean, it took me a while, I guess, just to get used to the idea. But I guess, you know, once I got used to hanging out in prisons, it didn't seem so bad.
Hello.
Hi. How was your visit?
Great. Great.
Yeah?
Good birthday, good visit, good friends, good food. Surprised me with a big birthday cake.
You mean Bill was able to arrange all this?
Mm-hmm. Plus, he was arranged to have somebody out here buy me a birthday present. So it was very nice.
What did he buy you?
He bought me a pair of copper earrings, because he knows I collect earrings. Very unique.
You fell in love with a very young man.
Yes, I did. The ironic thing is the fact that he fell in love with me. That's the irony. We had corresponded for well over a year, and one day I got a letter from him. He said, "I'm probably going to blow your mind with this," but he said, "I discovered something. I'm in love with you." Does that make sense? I have done things for him that his family don't seem to think about. I write to him because I put myself in that position. If I were sitting in an 8 by 10 place, or however large it is, I would live for the mail guard to come by and bring me some kind of communication with the outside world. And I think that compassion over the months and into years is what turned into love, because he helped me the same way. Right after I had my husband put in the nursing home with Alzheimer's, I had to go up to my brother's house and help nurse him until he died of cancer, and stay on and try to take care of his wife and get her to, you know, ease her through it, because I had been through a death in a previous marriage, and lo and behold, she dies. So through all of this, the one I could lean on, the one I could turn to was Mike, because he understood. Though he does not, his feeling for death is, he can't cope with it. He can talk about other things to get my mind off of it. So we've been good for one another. And it just, like you say, it's strange. I'm almost twice his age.
When you don't get to live with somebody you love, day in and day out, people who do have that luxury take it for granted. And when you can be this close to them, even that, you capture the moment. You can feel their presence. It's almost like actually being together. You appreciate every little moment, even though you don't have the intimacy and you're not really together, you're not really alone. You're close.
you're close. You get to really be close. Having stayed with a lot of ladies here, you know, they say a lot of crazy things. Let's just go jump the fence. Let's go run down the canal bank. Let's just go break in, you know. And I have seen some ladies at certain frustrated points. I thought they were going to run out of here at 1 o'clock in the morning and try to break in.
I wish I could figure out how to scale those 6 walls over there. Does that tell you anything? I told him a while ago when I left over there, I said, well, if you can sneak out tonight, I'm in number 3 over at the motel.
Still have, you know, a thriving business and have friends and a social life, but a platonic social life in Atlanta. My life is the same, I just don't have sex.
I don't know, it's a feeling that I have never had before, even through 3 marriages. I never had the, you ask about the sexual standpoint, I never had that feeling of desire that I feel for Mike. And it will probably, may never be fulfilled. But I have a love for him like I've never had for anyone in my life.
It just works with him, and it has never worked with anybody else.
They used to have furloughs here. And now I don't know whether that was before the Patels had this place or not. I don't know, you know, that much history about the Blue Mist. But this lady got her paranoid stepson out of prison on a weekend furlough. And when he didn't show up, they came over here and checked, and they found her body. But they didn't find him. The last I heard, they still hadn't found him. So they did away with furloughs, darn it.
They were allowed to have a furlough here at the motel with their families until a particular incident happened.
Like what? What happened?
Like one of the inmates who was on furlough here in this room with his mother.
In this room?
In this room. Room 22.
On January 30th, 1984, a citizen here in the community, he used to work at the Arizona State Prison, which is just a little bit east of where we're standing right now, reported to us that an inmate known to him as Robert Mormon had been up to his restaurant, acting very suspiciously and trying to get rid of what he called dog bones. We started looking for Robert after we had a description of him. We came up to this room, room 22 here at the Blue Mist, and talked to Robert. My sergeant and another officer came and talked to him, and he reported to us at that time that he was waiting for his mother to come home, that she was off with some friends here in Florence. When we opened the room with the search warrant, we came in, it looked just like a motel room that was being lived in for the weekend. There was some new pots and pans laying here on the chair and on the floor. This bed here was disarrayed where Robert had been laying. This bed here, you could tell somebody had been laying on it, but it wasn't really disturbed. We found Maud's purse sitting on the nightstand between the 2 beds. We found her slippers on the floor near the window. We, at that time, were also advised that a lieutenant from the prison had been contacted by Mr. Mormon and asked to come to the motel room to pick up some dog bones to give to the dogs at the prison. From that, we asked to retrieve that box so that we could examine them. It turned out to be Mrs. Mormon's lower extremities. He had taken her here into the bathroom and with a serrated steak knife and a buck knife had completely dismantled her body. We were able to pick up points of blood in the floor where blood had dropped and splattered, which were photographed and picked up for evidence. In the bathtub itself, we were able to take the drain, and we found pieces of human fatty tissue, which we were later determined that they did, in fact, they were Maud Mormon. We questioned Robert Mormon, and after 2 or 3 stories, he did finally tell us, yes, he had indeed killed his mother, and he had told us around town where he had deposited parts of her body. And Robert Mormon today is on death row for the murder of his mother.
Does one know why he did it?
As far as I know, there are a lot of theories. Some said that she died of a heart attack. They felt she died of a heart attack. And he panicked and he dismembered her. Other people say they were sexually involved in a fit of rage, you know.
This was his adoptive mother.
Yes, adopted mother. Although she had raised him. He was an infant when she adopted him. His name is Robert. His first name is Robert. His mother's name is Roberta. And, but since that incident, no more inmates come to the only motel in Florence anymore.
You married a man in prison, where most women would divorce men in prison.
But I try not to think of him as a man in prison. I try to think of him as the man he is. It's unfortunate that he is in prison, but it's not all there is to him. I mean, he's more than just a number for the state of Arizona. He's a person, and he's a great person.
So Mike has given you something that you really never had before.
Right. In our visit, this trip out, I think kind of summed it up. He said, "You're attractive." He said, "It isn't your face, your beautiful hair that I fell in love with. I fell in love with your heart and with your personality." And I have that on tape. I told him he could never take that back because I have proof he said that. But he has given me something that has really been lacking all my life. A feeling of somebody gives a damn. That I think says it all together.
You still feel like the cop and the convict?
Yes. There's a lot of convicts who will never accept me because I'm still a cop as far as they're concerned. I was a cop, I'll always be a cop. There's a lot of cops who will not accept me because I joined the enemy. They teach about us in the academy. We have new officers come out and they tell us, "Oh, you're Bill and Sandy Doyle. Yeah, they talked about you guys in the academy."
Do you know what they say?
My maiden name was Irwin, and they say that Sandra Irwin was one of the best officers that came out of here. And she was manipulated, and she fell by the wayside, and if she could trade her badge in for a convict, anybody can. You can be manipulated by any convict. It's real frustrating. Well, you go in there, you're supposed to go in like a Marine. You're supposed to go in growling, you're supposed to hate these idiots, you know, they're all assholes. Your duty is to spread hate and discontent. That's your job. And unless you get called 80 names, derogatory names a day, you're not doing your job. You know, and after a while, the humanness and everything, it breaks, it comes through. It's real hard to be hateful every day for no reason. It's a real hard job. It really is. It's real hard to leave that place and go home at night.
Entertainment coming your way all evening long. But right now, we'd like to mention some of our accommodations. When you're ready for something to eat, head for the snack bar, where you'll find food that's guaranteed fresh and delicious. cook them up plump and tender. They're sizzling and juicy when they hit
You thought your husband's idea was crazy.
I sure did. He said, well, this would be a really good place to build a motel and have a large picture window and they could look out onto the screen. And I said, oh, it would never work. That would just be the worst thing we could do. And he said, well, I'm going to start building a motel. So there wasn't really much else I could do except go along with it. And as it turned out, it was a very good idea.
We built the drive-in theater way back in 1955. We had a little 3-room bedroom apartment. The wife and I, we had no children at that time. One night, my in-laws came to visit us. We gave them our bedroom, and we slept in the hide-a-bed there. We saw the screen, but we didn't hear any sound, so I told the wife, I said, tomorrow morning I'm going to put a speaker in here, and we can watch the movie while laying in bed. So that's how we started there, and I told the wife, someday I'm going to build me a motel where we can sit down and watch the movie from your unit.
Will this be the last performance?
Yes, it will. The last performance of the season. Then the season opens up again in October.
I came here, you might say, as a last resort. The touring business was kind of dying out for the solo performer. When I found myself confronted with this empty hotel and theater that no one wanted, I somehow had the feeling that I was looking at the other half of my life. I was so intrigued with it, I told my husband about it, and together we both realized we were looking at our future.
It seems to me that this is actually a motel here.
Well, it's called a hotel because it was built at a time, 1922, when there was no such thing as a motel. It was considered a hotel. There were no motels. People didn't even know the meaning of the word motel back in 1922. There's something more permanent about the word hotel than motel. It has more class to it, too. Neglected for so many years that the maintenance for it has dwindled to a point where the water and sewer systems are defunct. It needs a new roof. If a new roof isn't put on it, it's going to deteriorate to a point where there is no shell, no building. And it can hardly be supported by a dancer's performances in the opera house. I mean, to support a whole hotel and a ghost town is a very difficult financial task.
We're restoring the motel, but we hope to find somebody to come out here to operate it for us so that we can take care of the opera house and just let them run the hotel, motel, whatever. There's just Marta and myself living here in the town, and she takes care of the theatrical part of it, and I do too to some degree, but then I also have to go out and take care of the town itself.
This is a ghost town. A town that has only 2 to 4 people living in it is considered a ghost town.
I've known Marta ever since she's been here, and one day I come walking in when she first started painting the murals, and I asked her what she was doing. She said, "Oh, I'm going to paint these walls all the way around and the ceiling too." And I said, "Holy mackerel, you're going to do all that?" And I just shook my head like I didn't believe her. Well, I come back a few months later, and sure enough, she was right in the middle of it.
I have an obsession of painting on blank walls. Wherever I've lived, I've done it. And these walls, of course, dictated to me an audience because it was my theater, it was my make-believe opera house, so I can make out of it anything I wish through my painting.
But these were your only audiences for quite a while.
Yes, many, many, many evenings. All I had was my painted audience, and my painted audience grew as the years went by. And as it grew, the real audiences grew, too. I think that when I painted the mural were some of the most tragic years of my life. But I wouldn't believe it because I had a mural to finish.
She was going through what I would say marriage problems. She had a husband with a superego that wanted all of her time, and she wanted to spend her time as an artist and painting and doing things here in the opera house and on the stage. And so her own time was taken up quite a bit. She didn't want to be just a standard housewife.
I was in here all the time, working, practicing, painting, sewing costumes. We were married, and I was a wife, and wives just don't, that's not expected. They're supposed to cook a nice dinner and be available for anything the husband wants. And suddenly the title of wife terrified me. It meant obligations, it meant obedience, it meant, you know, stop what you're doing to please someone else if it's necessary, which is something I never had to do. Even with my mother, I didn't have to do that. I could paint into the wee hours of the morning or work on my dances all day long, and she just reveled in it. But as my marriage went on, my husband did not revel in that. It irritated him. I was obsessed with my theater, and I thought this is the first time in my life I had the world that I wanted, and I created it. And somehow, I guess he felt left out. He told me he felt left out.
Was he left out?
I think that was his imagination.
Is your husband Tom's portrait on these walls?
No. A lot of people thought the king and queen were Tom and me, but I don't think they look like us at all. Some people think that Siegfried looks like Tom.
Siegfried?
Siegfried.
What part of Siegfried looks like Tom?
The beard, the width. He has a broadness, a strength, a physical bigness. Tom has gotten big through the years. I felt very guilty when I was told that I left him out, and that guilt began to show in my performances.
He caused a lot of heartaches and problems for her in the way he treated her.
He hated me, and he tried to destroy me. We had one phone here, and I would lift the phone to make a call, and I'd always hear his voice talking to his lady friend, always, as if he had a recording, just to hurt me. My marriage was falling apart, and I thought to myself, well, there is no better person to ask for advice how to hold your marriage together than a madam. They seem to know all the slants of it. So I dressed up and got in my little car, and I drove north 7 miles, and it was broad noonday, and I rapped on the door of the house of ill repute. The door opened, and this very tough-looking, red-headed woman standing there with a baby doll on, and you could see everything through it. She says, "What do you want, honey?" And I said, well, I am Marta Beckett from the Amargosa Opera House 7 miles south of you, you know. She says, oh, yeah, of course I heard of you. And I said, well, I've come to see Crystal. She's the madam. And I've come to see her for advice because my marriage is falling apart, and I thought she might be able to give me a few pointers. Oh, come in, honey, come on in. She invited me into this dark room where there was a little fountain in the middle and a light shining up on it. Fountain of a nude woman with water falling all over her. And there were some very shady pictures on the walls. And she says, come on into the kitchen and we'll have a cup of coffee. And so she sat down, was very confidential, and she leaned forward. And she listened to all my problems, and she says, you know, honey, I wish that Crystal could help you, but she's not here now. And you know why she's not here? She's out over in Las Vegas because she's getting a divorce.
I have had the same experience with previous marriages, and I thought maybe that I could talk to her and maybe I could help her.
You mean you had that ego problem too with your wives?
No, no. No, I didn't have an ego problem. I just, my first wife, she's the one that decided to go out and mess around, okay? And I couldn't take this. So we divorced, and I also had 4 children by her. And it was being pushed away from the children and not being able to help raise them and see them, that's what tore me up. And then the second wife that I had, she had 2 children, so I helped raise those 2 children, but then after the children got raised, she wanted to go out and try the field again, and so again I had the same problem, which was I could not take it being, I didn't feel a marriage should run that way. So I finally just left that one too.
I approached Wilgett one day and I said, would you rehearse the lights and the curtain with me? Because my husband is going to leave and there's going to be a time when I won't have any stage manager or anyone to help pull the curtain or do the lights or an MC. So please, see, maybe we could rehearse together and keep the show going, because he's going to leave in January, which is right in the middle of our season. And he said, sure, I'll try. So he did. And he was very good with the lights and the curtain. Excellent. I could see that he had the potential to perform, but he just didn't ever tap it. He was a comedian. All over town, he was a comedian. He had a 3-wheeler and used to ride on the 3-wheeler, leaning backwards, almost doing a back bend, and putting his legs up on the handlebars, and he'd ride along like that at great speed, and his red hair flying in the wind, saying, "Arr, arr, 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 arr." And I thought, you know, what a waste. This guy really has comedy in him.
I called my mother up a couple days ago, and she said, you know, it's always been there, but you're just a late bloomer, that's all. So I guess I'm just a late bloomer.
Wilgett became the replacement of your husband.
Oh, more than that, yes.
So there's a love there.
There is a love. Our worlds were completely opposite from where we came, completely opposite. He understands my need to be alone with my art. He sometimes doesn't understand everything that I create, but for the theater, he seems to understand it, and he falls right into rehearsal, and I can tell him what to do and mold him just like clay, and then he takes it on from there and creates his own character. But why do 2 people who love each other have to agree on everything? You know, that's silly.
Marta took me and changed my whole life by putting me in the front of the public's eye and putting me on stage, doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing. And now she has given me something that I wouldn't mind doing the rest of my life.
I'm thankful that from the day I was 3 years old, I realized I wanted to dance and I wanted to paint, and I have never given that love up. So many people live their whole lives without even knowing what that fanaticism is, and to me that's very sad. That fanaticism can either lead to a very lonely life, it can lead to fame and fortune, it can lead to all kinds of things, but it's the end in itself that's important.
You had a mother that shared your fanaticism.
She went everywhere and sat in the dressing rooms, and I was her little moneymaker. Some mothers seem to have a fetish about money. They idolize it. I had my debut in the Bronx at a little nightclub called the Hula Hut. And of course, Mother was there, and I'll never forget it. That was my debut.
Was she happy for you?
Well, no. She was happy to have the money. I performed in a lot of these little places in and around the Bronx and Brooklyn. And I remember payday. We'd all stand in line at the paymaster's office and receive these little envelopes of cash. and Mother's arm would be first reaching up to get it.
So she really used you?
Well, she managed my finances. She called them our finances, and she claimed that we were too against the world, and almost like she was trying to make a pair of twins out of us. I will work and make the money, and she will know how to invest it. And she did not invest it wisely. She gambled in the stock market and lost it. One of the things she used to say over and over again, oh, you will climb up the ladder to success, and Mother and you will cross the country back and forth, and you will be a success, and I will ride right along with you. And of course, this used to bug me. It was a burden to me. I constantly felt this is what she expected, and as I grew older and got on Broadway and got into shows and my career expanded, I found there was no room for Mother, and I began to feel guilty about that because she just expected there would be a place for her in my life for as long as we both lived.
You were her life.
Oh, she told me that I was her breath and life. And she assumed I would never marry, I would never have any boyfriends. She didn't even like it when I had girlfriends. In the ballet, I used to have a lot of close friends, and we'd talk about things, of course, that I couldn't talk about with Mother. And
did you love her?
yes, and I still love her. I still love her. She was a burden, but you see, her divorce was, my father married her best friend, and somehow I felt she was betrayed, and I was sort of led to believe that I could make up for that loss if I tried real hard, and I did try real hard. But I could not change myself into someone else, and that's, I think, what she wanted. But she did love my art. She loved what I wanted to do with my life, and she was the only one in my life who approved of my art. So how could I help but not love my mother?
Oh, Mama, I've always loved you. You know that, honest. I know I've been a big disappointment to you, but I'm going to make it up somehow. I know that you and Grandma have big ideas for me. You all dreamed about my becoming a classical prima ballerina. You worked hard to put me through Miss Witherspoon's dancing academy. After I graduated, I went to Vladimir Uspensky's ballet school in New York and somehow got mixed up with all the wrong people. I was convinced by all my friends I was too pretty to suffer for art. I was convinced that a career as a classical ballerina would never pay off. Then I got a job at the Razzmatazz nightclub, and suddenly I found myself on Easy Street. I'm now a woman of the world. I'm Crystal LaRue, and I'm going to open the old Hurly-Burly Saloon and provide all the entertainment myself by dancing the parts of my sisters, Tilly LaRue, Carmen LaRue, and Fanny LaRue.
I'm aware constantly of time. I'm aware of the fact that you cannot borrow it, you cannot beg for it, you cannot save it. It fleets by, and it's gone. I've used a lot of time struggling, finding my way out here, and finally over half my life is lived, and I have all of a sudden this marvelous place, but I still don't have enough time. I have the place, but I don't think I'll ever have enough time, and that's what saddens me. Sometimes I wish I could live forever.
When I came here, I didn't own anything but a car and some furniture. But now I've been here for 5 years, and in that 5 years' time, I've inherited a whole town, so to speak.
Yeah, a whole town, a beautiful woman, an artist. I mean, you're a lucky man. You feel lucky?
When you look at it that way, I do feel myself lucky. I look back on my life, and I look back on what I was doing before I came here, and this is really the happiest time of my life, because my life now is so varied, you know, and I'm busy, but I'm not over busy to where I don't get bored anymore. I don't have time to get bored.
And you're with a woman you love?
Yes, I'm with a woman I love. But I never thought I would have a woman with the character and talents of Marta Beckett, and her dancing and painting would feel the same way about me, you know. But it just turned out that way, and I'm lucky.
Thank you for coming to share this final evening of the 20th season. Please join us for a party down in the hotel lobby, and I will get dressed into my regular costume.
Tomorrow evening, don't miss Howard Hawks' classic western, Red River. John Wayne and Montgomery Clift in his film debut, considered by many the greatest western of all time. Red River, tomorrow at 10 on Channel 2. Quintessential monster movie, King Kong, at 10 past midnight. Stay with us now. Bill Moyer's next. News at 11. Jim Cartwright's Road on a live from off-center at 11:30. Stay tuned.